Let's be honest, the travel nursing space has gotten really crowded over the past year and a half or so. So as a traveling healthcare professional, how do you know the recruiter that you're working with is the best recruiter for you to be working with? On this episode, we talk to Adam Conrad, the founder of Great Recruiters, a place where you can go similar to Google or Yelp or something like that, where you can look up your recruiter and see what other traveling healthcare professionals are saying about that recruiter, and then find out if that's the person you should really be talking to. Atlas All Access starts now.
Hey, Adam Conrad, founder, CXO of Great Recruiters, 20 years staffing veteran, been in the industry a long time, cut my teeth as a IT and professional recruiter, and have moved into recruiting management as well as operational roles. Before starting Great Recruiters, I was running operations for a mid-sized staffing firm and really left so I could help better serve the entire industry.
CXO?
Chief Experience Officer. That, and it's the CIO, the CTO, the CEO. You know, when you're starting a company, man, you're everything in between.
I got it. I totally understand that. So take me back to your recruiting career, right? When you first started in the staffing industry, what did that look like? And at what point did you think, wait a minute, there's something else here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really been a journey, Rich. I mean, when I started, I was real green. I might have been 22 years old, might be dating myself here, but I literally got sat in a conference room with a stack of resumes and a job order, and they said, call these people. It was for a PLC controls engineer. I knew nothing about PLC controls. I just learned about it the minute I sat down. And really, for me, it was an intimidating experience because I felt like I added no value to the conversation. So I was kind of trained in a very transactional way, really didn't have my sight on the future and really left a little disenchanted. I moved on to a new company that I learned a whole new perspective around recruiting. In fact, I met a recruiter, Justin, who really taught me about the relationship side of this business. And for there, it was like a game changer. Like my eyes opened up. I saw the long-term opportunity. I saw that every day didn't have to be a grind. As you continued in this business, those relationships just made life easier. And I really learned the moving from kind of the transactional side where I provided really no value to a very strategic side where I had a very strong talent network, trusted people. And that's been my recruiting career. And so I brought that to when I managed teams, when I operated the company, and really brought that whole sense to, Great Recruiters.
So where did, give me that aha moment, right? Because we've all had it. I mean, anytime you create something out of nothing like this, right? What made you think, here it is?
Yeah, I always loved technology. I always loved technology being part of the recruiting. I really pushed the envelope, was an early adopter with technologies like first customers for like Herefish Sense, really pushed onboarding and brought video in. This was 8-9 years ago. We drove video. So I'd always been one that wanted to really push because I saw that our industry was a little bit of a laggard. Specific to Great Recruiters, though, I knew I wanted to do something, but I went on the first family vacation in a long time, took a whole week off. I think we had the 2 boys and maybe my daughter was still at home, but long and short, I get to the hotel and I got a ping on my phone and said, hey, how was your check-in? And I was like, all right. And as my trip went on, I got these different moments where they were just checking in just to see how things were going. And I was like, there's something here. I like this. We lack this in our industry. But what really got me was I got to know the bartender a little bit down at the poolside bar. And when I left on my final day, he handed me a business card. He goes, hey, would you mind giving me a personal review? And on the back of the card was a link to his personal review page. It might've been through one of the travel sites. And I was like, that's it. We need that transparency. We need that recruiter review. And that's really it. I came back and started whiteboarding it, and the rest is history.
I did not know this story. So ironically, and I actually wrote down ironically, so I would remember this right here. Same sort of thing. When you and I met in 2019,
Yeah.
I had a very similar experience a few weeks before that with taking my car in. And I went to a different place that I hadn't gone to before, or whatever. Just they could get it in before the other place could. And I went there. Same sort of thing. I was driving away and I got a text. How was that experience? I answered that text. I got another one like 2 days later. Would you recommend us? And it was like a Google or whatever. I'm like,
right.
Wait a minute. No one's ever done this before. Like, there's got to be something like that for us. Started researching. Sure enough, then I meet you 2 weeks later.
Right. I mean, it's crazy to think about. We are in a service-based industry that has probably one of the most impactful, it has the biggest impact on people's lives, right? The way they generate income for their families. And it's everything that's built on. And, I was just talking to someone last week. They're like, yeah, my first impression of recruiters are like used car salesmen. Right. And I don't want to, nothing against that, because I think actually they do it great. Dealerships are always, hey, give me that 5-star review. They do it a little bit differently. But ironically, for such a heavy human to human service-based industry, nobody was asking in real time. And we're getting down to the individual, because that's where behavior lives.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, if you create a great experience, Rich is awesome. If you create a bad experience, it's Atlas's fault. Mm-hmm. Right. And so we tend to call the brand name out when it's negative, which is why it's such important to know down to the individual level how you're doing on a real-time basis.
So let's talk about the transactional nature of our business because it really has shifted. When I started in the industry 18 years ago, and it really was a lot like you had talked about. It was a lot of just dial in the phone, and there was nothing online when there was no Facebook yet or anything like that. And so it was very transactional, and it has become very personal. And has that been difficult, at least from Great Recruiters' standpoint, when you're pitching that when you're pitching your product to companies? Is it still a transactional thing? Or are you finding that people are more likely to welcome something like this?
I think it's a loaded question, honestly, to answer, because I think there's different groups of people where they are in their journey, not just from what you say on your website to what you're actually doing, but a maturity from the process perspective to the technology. Like when I met you, the culture was there, the process was there, you had it all. We just then became a simple vehicle to help you execute it even easier. So there was no education. You get it. You're very much do what it says on the tin. I don't meet, when I first started in 2017 pitching this, I'd had people say, I don't care what they think about my recruiter, I'll just get another one. That has changed drastically. And I think if you have that mentality right now, you are in trouble as a firm. So I do think the industry has started to catch up. I think there's an awareness of the importance. We're a commodity-based business. Technology used to be a strategic differentiator. Prior to that, it used to be your database. But let's face it, we have the same access to talent. We have a huge adoption on technology. So that's no longer a strategic differentiator. Really, the only differentiator you have is, are you doing what you actually commit to do? Are your people actually driving a great experience? And you said it. If I go to a car dealer, if I deal with a realtor, no matter where I go, experience matters. And I think now the conversations are definitely changing for us, Rich.
I think, you're absolutely true. It's just everything has changed about everything we do, right? I mean, the first thing you do when you hear about a business or whatever, I go to Google it. How many 4 stars, 5, or whatever. I want to see that first. The same with recruiters. They drive our business. Why not give them something like you offer?
Yeah. And I think when we bring it down to that profile standpoint, you're hearing it more and more. People don't work with staffing firms. People work with people. People work with a recruiter. As much as I love the brand, but if you have someone that's done well by you as a recruiter and they move to another company, their talent pool is going with them, right? Because that's where the trust exists. They trust the human. And so when we are able to give them those like profile pages, it's tough for a lot of recruiters to brag. And I think, they don't want to talk much about themselves. The beauty is when you introduce yourself to new candidates and you say, hey, look, this is who I help. This is how many people I've helped. Here's what they think about working with me. You instantly start building credibility and trust. And it doesn't mean you're going to land that person the job. We just want to help you get that call back so more candidates know about which recruiters they should be calling back.
So not that, right, I love what you've brought to us so far, but I know we're not your only client, obviously.
Right.
So, and one of my hesitations that I had, and this is funny because now we've gone through it already, is I don't have time to implement a new product, right? I think I told you that. Look, I love it. I think
you pushed this off. I don't think we were supposed to be live yet. I think it was July or August.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I said, I don't have time. And you said, yes, you do. It doesn't take that long.
Right.
I mean, tell me about that. That was, okay, don't tell me. Obviously, if I've ever done it, tell everybody else about that.
Well, I mean, it was by design. Simple and meaningful is one of my pillars. Peace of mind is another one, right? Build a legacy is the third. And so from somebody who implemented a lot of technology, it can be painful. And unfortunately, the myth is that every technology is painful. But I think, you trusted in me and I appreciate it. And we delivered. I think it was 48 hours up and running, but it's all by design. You shouldn't have to work to get this feedback. It shouldn't take, project managers and tons of resources on your side. We understand you don't have that kind of time and your recruiters certainly don't. So we were very thoughtful when we built this to make it extremely simple and easy to get connected. Our great relationship with Bullhorn, you had to do no work. You submitted a ticket,
right?
And I think the rest was taken care of.
Yeah.
We got your users, you're up and loaded, and literally it's live.
It really was and like I said, I love what you bring to us. It's our little secret sauce right now. And I know there's other companies obviously that are using it too, but at some point, I don't see why everybody doesn't use this, quite honestly.
Well, I mean, my vision has been there are the recruiters, everybody's been labeled under one label, recruiters. And we know how much variance is there. The problem is people don't know how to differentiate one for another. And that's when we launched Great Recruiters Certified Staffing Firms earlier this year as that distinction and acknowledgement for the companies that have the processes in place, the review data in place, that I'm comfortable as Adam Conrad standing behind and saying any Great Recruiter certified company, I'll stand behind that they have the process in place and they want to create a better experience. I'm not going to guarantee they're going to get you the job. I'm not going to guarantee they're going to be perfect, but I'm going to guarantee that their mindset is they want to create a great experience. They want the most success for you. And so that was our first step in doing it. And we'll be launching more things around the GR certified recruiters to help the industry find the great recruiters out there. I mean, we can't fill every order. So there's plenty of business for everybody. But if you're a candidate or a client, we want you to go to the places that are going to take care of you the best from an experience standpoint and a result.
That's where we're going to end it. Adam, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
All good, man. It's great catching up. I appreciate you talking to me.
I hope to have a beer with you in person very soon.
It's good. I will say on the end, I got to travel last week to see some clients, Rich, and I've already decided I'm going to take the GR journey and start visiting. So it might be sooner than you think, man.
Sounds good. All right. We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much. Take care.